our life happens within our soul. It's not that we have a soul, the person doesn't have a soul, the soul has a person.
Welcome to Point of Relation with Thomas Hübl, a podcast that illuminates the path to collective healing at the intersection of science and mysticism. This is the Point of Relation.
This episode was recorded during a session of the Mystic Café, a global membership community with Thomas Hübl featuring live teachings, meditations, discussions, and Q&A, all taking place online. To learn more or to become a member of the Mystic Café, visit www.mysticcafeonline.com.
And a part of the spiritual path is that we live a life that is more and more resonant with the downpouring light that is constantly pulsing, that when I become more open, I maybe at the beginning get glimpses, and then the glimpses start to become more often, and slowly, I resonate more with my soul stream, which is intelligence that is essential to my life. And even by asking myself what is actually essential in my life, I'm also tuning in with my soul stream. You can imagine your soul is like a mandala. Your soul's energy field is the field that holds the drawing of your entire life, like a mandala. And so this, anyway, our life happens within our soul. It's not that we have a soul, the person doesn't have a soul, the soul has a person. It's a bit different. It's like when the car says, like I have a mirror. Like when the mirror says I have a car, or the car has a mirror built in. So the soul is the bigger consciousness, and the personality is happening within the soul. The soul is not only the driving evolutionary force, but it's actually the energy field that our entire life happens in. And the vibrational state of our soul determines how big is that mandala. But it's not only important how big that is, it's important that through living a life of contemplation, which means making space. So one practice is practicing spaciousness, because when I'm too scared, which means it's not safe enough for me in life, then I also can't make a lot of space, because being is dangerous. We said one's presence is integrated life, but if being here was traumatic or strongly traumatic, not being here, being fragmented, is better. And so through our inner work, the aspects of me that are traumatized slowly come back and get integrated into the whole. And so it needs some sort of safety to allow myself or tolerate deeper sensing. And the more we establish the deeper sensing, we also develop something that I said at the beginning, is my body becomes either again or is, depends what my biography was, is actually like a joyful land. Wherever I enjoy my body, I'm enjoying also the land. Because I believe there is no difference between the land and the body. The body is the access to the land. So when we feel embodied and we can rest in the body, means it's safe enough to be in the body, then the body becomes, from being a very activated, stressful place, becomes more and more again a joyful place that I can rest in. And enjoyment is presencing, is resting in the land. But it also means that I bring the light of my soul, like the energy, the illumination quality of my soul, the consciousness, through my body into the land. Because we are all we're all part of the planet. And so when my consciousness saturates my physical body, it also saturates part of Earth, of the planet. And that opens up subtle capacities. So the more we deepen our awareness into resting in the body, like when it becomes safer in the base, more of the subtle sensing opens up. Sometimes for some people that had a very traumatic history, being out of the body enough opens up some psychic capacities, but those psychic capacities then can't be really grounded in life. They may be very open up, but we can't go in. So it's actually becomes like part of our defense mechanism to be up and out and even highly psychic, but not able to live an organized life in the matter, and to enjoy the matter too, to enjoy the substance of life. So in a way, in a let's say in a grounded, embodied spiritual practice, we practice both opening up more to the light, bringing more light into the cup of our body, but also opening the body in order to ground it in the soil, like in the mother quality of the planet. But that also opens up the subtle capacities to sense the world. Sensing the world comes through resting in the land of the body, because there is no difference between deep embodiment and the land and nature. And through nature, we are plugged into the biosphere as a data network. So that's why some saints said, I can feel the planet as my body. And that's not like a metaphorical thing, that's literal. That by illumination or enlightenment, bringing more light, which is embodied conscious awareness, into deeper energy centers, and especially the first and at the ground, the root chakra holds the first 7 years of our biography very strongly, the embodiment biography. And if there are contractions in the base, so the light can't go fully in, so the light doesn't transform matter. But the more we open the root, the more light flows into the matter. And the light flows through our ancestry, through our own life, through our ancestors, through our culture, through nature, to the planet, to the universe. And so it actually expands awareness downwards, which means more and more of the world, the physical world, become transcended through embodiment. But it's a step-by-step process. I'm not saying it happens overnight, but what I'm saying is the practice, the towards the ground practice and towards the sky practice, we are practicing both. That's why we often start with, okay, take a screenshot of how you feel to presence your inner state, however chaotic, however quiet, however pleasant, however unpleasant it is. It's a synchronization with the inner state. And then with my breath, I'm regulating my nervous system a bit more and a bit more and a bit more to connect to the resource parts. And from there, I connect to my stress. And if I do this regularly, so I expand the pathways into groundedness, I learn to regulate the stressful, like the stressed parts of my body. And like that, I ground myself slowly more and more. And when I do the light meditation, when I'm a bit more spacious, then from the crown through my third eye, I channel light into the complexity of my nervous system, maybe into the heart, and deeper down into my belly, then deeper down into my roots, and deeper down into the planet. But what that does karmically, that of course every frozen area in my embodiment is connected to like an area in my life, in my biography, but is also connected to an area in the collective field. So my personal trauma always has an interdependent connection to a collective dimension of the trauma too. They're not separate. And the same is true for my embodiment and for all my organs are also connected to the planet. And that's why living in a healthy equilibrium with life, like within our soul stream, connects us more to the divine law. And the divine law is basically another way, is an embodied way to describe like an ethical way of living, refining my ethics, the way I speak, the way I act, the way I'm in the world, the way I use resources, the way I treat people, the way I interact with everything in the universe is coming more and more in alignment. And so the one part is the grounding practice, one part is the kind of higher dimensional practice, and one part is the walking practice, like how I walk my life. And that I notice again and again when there are moments when it feels off, what I say, what I do, how I interacted with somebody, that I restore it. And I restore it, or I restore past situations that I couldn't restore then. And like that, I bring more and more light into the mandala of my soul. Hi, I'm Thomas Hübl. I'd like to invite you to a special 7-day journey this June, meeting fear with presence. In this practice challenge, we will explore how to meet fear not as a problem to fix or manage, but as a doorway to growth, resilience, and deeper connection. Fear is a natural response to the world we live in, but many of us have never been taught how to relate to it. We either learn to avoid it, to override it, or feel overwhelmed by fear. Together, we'll slow down, learn how to stay with fear gently and with support so that it can move, integrate, and become a source of grounded agency. Each day, you will receive a short teaching and a guided practice, and together we'll build the inner and relational capacity to meet fear with compassion and clarity. I hope you'll join us for this journey of presence.
Visit the link in this episode's show notes to learn more and sign up for the 7-day journey. or go to www.mysticcafeonline.com.
So I enlighten or illuminate my soul's composition. And so when I say there is inner land, when I feel my body, and I'm talking about where my body is open, pulsing, grounded, I'm resonating directly with the planet. There's no, I'm feeling actually through the open parts of my body, the bigger ecosystem that I'm part of. And in those areas, the biofeedback, like the feedback loops in the ecosystem or the biosphere, are functional. Whereas in the traumatized parts, where I don't feel that ecosystem, also the data flow from the biosphere to me is impaired or broken. So I don't feel certain things. So then I need to ask, what should I eat? Is this good for me or is that good for me? How should we, which kind of CO2 footprint should we have? So then life becomes a should. Once it's a should, I know that I don't feel it. Because if I feel it, then there's no should. It's just happening. And because it's constant, immediate feedback loops. Relations are feedback loops, constant data streaming. The soul, the vertical connection, is a constant data streaming. And the more open it is, the more my life gets updated moment to moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. And that becomes the source of my words. That when my speaking gets more and more informed by the light that flows down from the crown through my third eye into my words. And that's how words get energized by light. It's like, it becomes like that the word is a carrier wave for light. And we all feel when we speak and it's disconnected, kind of. Or we feel when we speak and it's connected. Sometimes we say things that are very connected, like out of the blue. And it's surprising to hear it because it's like, oh, wow, what did I just say? But it kind of matches the situation. That's a moment where the channel is open, where the word and the light have a synchronization. When I talk about from my past, from non-emergent patterns, then I don't feel this. It feels like without electricity. When we talk and it's inspired, then it's with electricity. And then the word sends electricity into the space. So we fill the space of our reality with the electricity of our soul's purpose. That's how we manifest our purpose in the world, because our words start to carry our soul's vibration into the world. Because when the nervous system becomes more and more synchronized, it becomes like a resonant wave field. And when the light comes in, it's like a modulation on top of what we transmit into the world. And so when we are passionate about something, we know it. When we are passionate about something and we inspire other people, what happens? Light gets transmitted and resonates with the light in other people. So when somebody has a great idea about the startup and speaks to people that are also interested in startups, then the light starts to resonate with the light. When somebody really needs a good therapist and has enough resource open, then the light of the person starts to attract the light of a therapist. And then here two people meet, but the light already was connected before they met. And the same is true for prayer, for example, when we pray out of our personality, or when we connect to the light of our soul, and then within that connection we pray, that has a much stronger impact because it's much more charged. So when I pray for somebody that is sick and I use a lot of light for it, it has a much stronger impact on that person, or on my own life, or whatever I pray for, or for the world. So because the creation power is stronger the more we are vertically connected. So the higher is our inner alignment, the stronger is the creation power that's being transmitted. And when that's open, and our heart, our relationship, right relation to the world, like a respect for human rights, which means respecting the basic ethical laws, and the body is open, because when the body gets open, there's the subtle energy field of the world gets open to us. So that's why when we heal our attachment wounds or our early wounds, and we are more grounded, we also start feeling more of the subtle energy field. So we pick up more information in the world, not just in the potentiality in the world that is manifest. So there are two levels of openness. One is in the higher dimension. I can sense more potential. I can sense more higher dimensional light. But that not necessarily affects my life yet. So then I'm dialed into the light, but it doesn't necessarily change my life yet. Only when that light can come in, it starts changing my life. And so it really literally has an impact on the important topics and also on the matter, like the substance of my life. And that's important for healers because that's what has the power to change physical conditions. If the light doesn't come into the body, it can affect maybe some emotional or some spiritual conditions, but it doesn't transform the matter in the body. And it also means that when I allow myself to rest in an inner, because spaciousness allows me to be more comfortable with not knowing. Because often knowing is a way to deal with fear. When I'm more safe, I can host more silent moments also with people or in interactions. But I'm also more comfortable in not knowing, and I'm more comfortable in uncertainty. And that's why I think it's such an important quality for now, because we are heading into a time there where we will face more and more uncertainty. And somebody who is grounded in the deeper inner space has more resilience or more capacity to host uncertainty, which allows me to stay creative when it's uncertain. And I think that's exactly what we need right now. When certain things fall apart, or certain identity structures globally fall apart, then we need another grounding. Because if I'm only grounded in what is falling apart, then it's very scary. It brings up a lot of fear. But if I'm grounded in something deeper, then when things fall apart, I'm still able to navigate within that reality. So that's why a deeper spiritual practice, an embodied spiritual practice, is important, because it helps me to develop changeability, higher tolerance for uncertainty, and a deeper groundedness in the matter of life, which gives me a sense of safety in life. And that's why we practice this kind of vertical and horizontal. Horizontal is I tune in with you, I feel you feeling me. That's horizontal literacy, relational capacities, the world of today. And the vertical literacy is from the higher potentiality into the ground and back, to experience a certain sense of flow or fluidity, and to be committed that every difficulty is a teacher. Every time I have a difficult conversation with somebody, I know I'm right now expanding my conscious universe. If I take it on, if I resist it, of course, then not. But if I look into it, it becomes my teacher. It helps me to open. So like that, I will continuously open the places in my body that are unconscious or absent, and bring them back online, bring them back online, bring them back online.
Thanks for listening to Point of Relation with Thomas Hübl. Stay connected and get updates about new episodes by visiting our website, pointofrelationpodcast.com, and by subscribing to the Thomas Hübl YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share about us with your community on social media. Thank you. We appreciate your support.